It's a wonderful day again. So every day, no matter what, just say it's better and better. It's easy to flip the switch from feeling to try, I'm happy that actually I got to wake up, and somebody that died, they didn't. And it's kind of the reverse way of making you feel funny, but if you can just remember that when you're feeling crappy, you've got something to be thankful for. And it sounds like, oh yeah, blah, 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 a lot of positive thinking. Well, you have to understand you either have a positive mind or a pessimistic mind. Which one do you want? Hello all. Running around and never know which clock or watch is the correct time. But I'm here. Good to see new faces. And I put my contact in, and for some reason I bumped my eye, and now my contact doesn't like to. So if I squint a lot tonight, you'll know why. It's because of the contact. But helping you understand that you can be joyful in your life. Oh, good. Terrence, you hit a love. That means I'll send you a card. And if you happen to love anything up there, love what's going on, and it shows up on the, then I will send it to you. They have a new feature that if you share this live video, then it'll say share. That way your name can go into the box for a free reading. So the energies feel kind of divided as far as within ourselves. Oh, Connie, it says you shared. Where's your little badge? It should give you that. I've seen it last week or yesterday that if you shared the live video, it's supposed to show and give you a badge. I'll have to keep that in mind. Whether or not that's going to work. So waiting for the energies to pick up. They keep dropping me. They say there's a lot of conflict, a lot of split decision. Should I be just yin? Should I be just yang? Should I just be? We're supposed to be the integration of understanding the flow of energy and how it goes back and forth, how it communicates. Wow, the little share button don't work. Oh, maybe they only had it yesterday. Anyways, hopefully Lenny will be on, and then she can see all these beautiful names, because usually in a half-hour time is when I will do the reading. Now, doesn't mean you shouldn't stick around. You should, because by sticking around, you are going to learn something that's different. The conflicts out there. This woman had a healing. Well, not just this woman. Basically, all my clients. They'll have a beginning reason, whether it is something tragic or they just have this urge. And then they'll come to me, and then we do some healing. Now, the understanding of the healing is you have to remember you are an emotional being. I don't care if they just say that you're physical and you're supposed to eat right and and exercise. You're so much more than that. Your thoughts depend on your emotions. And your thoughts will depend on who you're connected to, whether it's your higher self or you're connected to your ego. When you're connected to your heart and your higher self, you can move mountains. Without the two, it can get frustrating, meaning, oh, here we go. I'm going to manifest it. And you're consciously in your head, but it's not in your heart. And when you start to understand how you feel, okay, how did I motivate myself? How do I feel? Look at all those beautiful faces. When you understand this, then you can apply that how to what you want to do. If you are a very dedicated person to working on exercise, but you don't like to do office work, what made you motivated? And if it is blocks of believing that you can't do it, or something of the past. When people saw you sitting around, they go, oh, you're lazy. You can adjust the voices in your head that is attached to a picture of a person. You need to kick those people out. There's a lot of reasons. But when you wake up and you start to heal those particular emotions and those changing those beliefs, you get to look at going, oh, that's my life, but it just doesn't feel like it fits anymore. But then I'm looking over here and I see all these possibilities. You can get torn because you feel like you have to be loyal and you have to live this particular life and you have to go in that direction. But what you're going to find out is that will they be loyal to you? Or have they? You can have a set of standards about yourself. Like, what you see is what you get with me, because I look at everybody as a mirror. Why should I be mean to you? That's just telling myself to be mean to me. If I don't believe in you, then I can't believe in me. I can't just sit in your ego and go, oh, I'm better than anybody, because then you're going to think people are better than you. You have to understand the mirror. So when people are wishing someone dead, the bad part is they're telling their mind that they wish they were dead. Because your brain has no idea if you're talking to yourself, if you're talking to a mirror, you're talking to somebody, a dog, a person. You have to decide. So when you're sitting there complaining and being completely upset, you have to remember you're telling yourself that. And even if you're mad at this other person, your higher self still sees it as you. And it says, oh, you're mad at yourself. When you start to get the concept, you have to understand the backlash. So even if you intentionally try to hurt somebody, in the long run, you're doing more damage to your higher self, to the world that you're living in, and doing things to your soul. And you have to get to that next stage that it's not about, oh, I need to forgive them. It's not about, I have to forgive them. You have to forgive yourself for choosing that thought and that emotion. And then choose again and say, do I need this emotion to create my reality? Oftentimes we'll walk around and not realize that we're choosing to be bored today, which leads to victimization or leads to being pissed or leads to other emotions. That just says that you're disconnected from your higher self and that no ideas are flowing through. And boredom is an interesting feeling, but you have to wake yourself up. You have to decide, what do you like? What do you want to do? It's not always the outside that has to entertain you. It's your inner world. So if your inner world is projecting nobody to be there for you, look inside. Do you tell yourself nobody's there for you? Do you have an emotion? Do you have an attached to experience that proved to you? Well, all that proof, all that life force of you is keeping that proof alive, which costs you more energy and more of your enjoyment of life. So you have a choice. Do you choose those emotions to create your reality? Having somebody make you happy, that's a lot of responsibility on them. And you get to punish them for it? You know, you got a long ways to go when it comes to your emotions and to your true identity. Because if you set your GPS to happiness, you're going to have to wake up and realize how you treat people. And that includes how you think about the situation, because you're telling your higher self that story. You're telling yourself that story. You can look out in this catalog of life and say, I want to stop that in my family. I do not want to continue this in my family. It's not a judgment as much as a discernment. And you're choosing, I don't like those emotions. I don't like the way they make me feel. I really don't want to pass that on. Now, here's the kicker. And as a little girl, I'm looking and see my sister. And I remember, I'm not doing that. Let me tell you what a not does. In your brain, a not means you're going to do it anyway. But if you are really determined that you're not going to do that, all of your life force will say, no, you won't do that. But you need that energy to be able to move forward. You need a little bit of that spunk. Maybe not to that extreme that you saw, but you need some of that yin and yang. You need some of that to be able to do the next phase of your life. So you cut yourself off completely, and then you become underdeveloped on how to take care of the next step of your life. You need to move into power versus force, your personal life force power. Moving into the power of the higher self, moving into that energy flow. Because when you try to force it through your physical, through your ego, it just takes the vibration, whoosh, and it puts you in a state. And is that state really what you want to be? Angry, upset, constantly bitter? Because soon that personal feeling will become your personal reality. Your personal experience creates your personal reality. You getting this, right? So if you personally are taking offense, then your reality is that you got to take offense, or people are going to have to take offense by you. When you move into the states, different states of waking up, you're going to talk more into your spiritual mind, which is your higher self. And when people hear you in their ego, they're like, God, she's judgmental. And it's a very, 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 very fine line. But when your brain switches over to that spiritual mindset, it's a big, 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 big difference. Like, we can't really see spirits because of that frequency, but they can see us. When you're in your spiritual mindset, you can see everything else. But if you're not, you can't see the spiritual mindset. Do you understand? Now, it's funny you say it's calming, because I actually feel that, but I also feel the conflict of the way the world wants to wake up. But then they're looking at this crossroads. And I will tell you, you will come to those crossroads. Excuse me. You will come to those crossroads. What do you do with those crossroads? You use a tool. You have to set your GPS to say, yes, I want to resolve to evolve. That means I have to educate myself, learn about chakras. It's a beautiful dance when your chakras are your level of consciousness. And inside each chakra is another set of chakras. And when you are learning through your fifth chakra, but it's all about the second and the first, can you voice your opinion and still survive, which is the first, and to be able to still have relationships in the second. And if you have any disturbances, that your chakras will have a point that goes out to a funnel, but they'll shrink back and then they'll go forward. And people that are usually highly, okay, so as I was an empath, they called me what? Sensitive and all this. I didn't shut it off, but what I did do is I learned that when the energy was out so far past, I would say, my aura, I fell for it more, because the front part of me is feeling. The back part of me is my will. So this would be huge, and my chakras in the back would be small. So I didn't have the will. So in our eighth chakra is a set of archetypes. And you have the archetype of all things from martyrs to victim to saboteur. And there goes my voice. I drew the slave card. I could tell you, yeah, I can see that in my life. I know I've done servitude. I know that I love to serve. There's no higher honor than to serve. But it is if you have a foundation. For instance, this one says the shadow attribute is giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. You know, before it'd be, I'm fear to make, you know, I can't make my own choice. What would they say? But it's the same thing. And then there's fear that the moment you know you made your choice, what's the retribution? Now that's a lot of Spanish Inquisitions. That's a lot of things our soul has gone through. But it is learning that on the inside, that I project myself to be the slave because I still have a program that's running. And it usually will be based on an emotion. Okay? So here's the thing. You're having a conversation with somebody and you take offense. But spiritually, it's not about taking offense as much as, oh my God, I got a twang. I just lost power. You're spiritual investigating to find out what happened. What's the soul saying? How I lost my power. What's it still attached to? Versus, that person pissed me off. I need to get even. The question is, who do you want to be? The other one's going to eat you up. And the spiritual mindset will help you evolve. So it's learning about a different way to think. That's why spiritual investigation is important. That's why it is all about soul speaks. And when you begin to understand all that, the first thing is you need to understand that you're energy. I mean, some societies say that we're not, that we're just mechanical. That's not what I found. I spent many years studying about just energy in the human body, the mind, the heart. Wow, it is not what they convince you that it is. So they just switched me. I'm not sure why they dropped me like that. Do you have any questions out there? Look at all you wonderful people. So you hit love or like, however you did it. I'm going to give you a card. You share. And I don't know if Lenny made it yet because Lulu has a fever. Like I said, you're supposed to get a badge, but I don't understand why there's no badge. Well, anyways, what I do is then I go up there after the show and I see that it's shared, and I give you a card. So if you haven't made it into the box, and I see that you shared, then I give you a card for that too. So sometimes you can get up to 2 cards. Let's see, I have 3. So, even if you didn't make it into the name box, or what you call it, then hope therapy. My God, why are they're switching? They're playing with my variables. And I feel like Lenore's twin brothers are here, but yet that's weird. Anyway, hopefully you can join us, because I have just 3 names from what I can see. Okay, so, and that is on the floor. I was going to say something else, but obviously we're going to do it another way. The archetypes, there's a priest archetype. The light attribute is facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. The shadow aspect violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduces by your own spiritual role. So you can be seduced by your own spiritual role. So we're looking at shadows. So important to understand that the shadows are not your enemies. The shadows tell you where you're losing power. The shadows is that you needed to develop in that area so that you can be stronger as a whole. Some of you saying, well, you didn't read The Slave. The slave light attribute is surrounding your power of choice, the divine, and the complete trust. And the shadow is to give your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. Yes, I didn't show you the pictures. I can hear your brains. See them? And the hedonistic light attribute inspires creative energy to embrace the good things in life, celebrates the beauty in yourself. The shadow pursues pleasure to the detriment of health, indulges at the expense of others. The thing is that when you begin to understand the shadow, are you ready to let it go? Or are you still embracing what your family traits have taught you down the path? Think about it. If you didn't like how your mother and father treated you, you're going to say, that's not going to happen. I'm not doing that. So you improve. But without realizing it, what you learn is probably how you're going to treat your kids. Minus the I'm not doing it. But the problem is that, like, if you're used to controlling them through manipulation to get what you want, because you don't want to be alone, do you do that? You have to look. Do you have to get people to do things for you? How? Do you need people to do things for you all the time? Or are you the type that's on the opposite side? You refuse to ask because you're afraid to ask. You don't know how to ask. You know, it takes and look at how all of these people, how do you do these things? Sophie. Okay, so I'm writing it down just in case she doesn't come back. Michelle says, can you talk to me about grief, loss of loved ones from a spiritual perspective? Yes. I mean, I'm sure you're quite rehearsed as a human to what it is to grieve. Part of that grieving process is that sometimes people are taught that change is bad. It's a paradigm. Okay. Some people have been their heart is so beautiful, and then it's a shock when they have a loss of any kind. When that begins to happen, it can harden your heart. So you have to learn what love is by what it's not. And grief is just an aspect of the metal element. and that is about learning to let go, learning to surrender, learning to change. You know, half the time people don't cry when they change their underwear. They change by taking a shower. They don't see that as a death. But it is. You're changing from one thing to another. It's a death. But our definition of death is so final. But if you were to look at the loved ones that are vibrated up to that fourth plane, they see us. We just can't see them because we're not vibrating. And our eyes are not made to match that frequency. So when it comes to grief and loss of a loved one, it depends on how you decided to write that you needed to learn it. Started losing people when I was younger. All I did was, they're screaming, they're crying. That's how you're supposed to handle loss. My father told me, oh, you see your rabbit's gone. You know, and then dinner time. Guess what we're having for tonight? He got me so excited, and I'm like, what? He goes, rabbit stew. Now, I couldn't really show the grief because then there's a backlash. So how are you supposed to learn how to handle, deal, cope, pacify grief and loss? Then, as I got older, my brother died. I got to see my mother just completely washed away. She had all of us kids to take care of, and yet she was not connected And I felt abandoned. I couldn't feel it. Then the toughest one was when I saw my boyfriend die, how he was going to die before it actually happened. Then I watched it happen. That's when I said I wanted nothing to do with the spirituality stuff. Then my mother was diagnosed with cancer. Spirit, I can't handle, cope, manage, deal with this pain because I already lost my mother before she's gone. We have chosen not to look at loss. We just see it as pain. Where you lose your favorite pencil. That hurts. Where'd it go? You're so attached. And it's not that I'm saying you have to be unattached. It's just that you have to unattach yourself from the pain of loss. Then, before my mother died, I heard her soul say, honey, I gotta go. And I'm like, wait, what? And then I started realizing there's exits for the souls. And the soul has made already a commitment? No, it's not my rule. You can't do that. And over time, when people are ready to die, their soul will be arranging everything. Out here, oh hell no! You fight tooth and nail. You do everything you can because it's for your family. Some people just want to go, but they can't get the exit. But it's how we define loss and grief. When I began to heal, resolve the chemical peptides of deep grief, anguish, heartache, I was able to start hearing them on the other side. I was able to start feeling that love that I had blocked off. And when our soul decided it needed to learn what is love by what it's not, and knowing that we're the ones that push away because we don't want to feel that pain anymore, it's a whole different ball field. You can't help but get attached. Your heart's so full. I had a little birdie. His name was Merlin. Oh my God, he helped me love again as far as an animal. And then he died. And I watched how the 41 thoughts per minute, like 38 of them, were all on his little chirping, his little, and then I realized that I kept going there to that painful spot, torturing myself again and again and again and again. Why the hell am I doing that to myself? And so then I used a hope therapy tool, and it dissolved those chemical peptides of all the pain. And now I am grateful he was in my life. I got to experience love again. And every now and then I will see a feather here and there, or I'll see it in my other birdie's eyes. And it opened my heart. Because I couldn't let pets into my space. So grief and loss, the more you're into that ego and you're disconnected from that higher self, it's going to hurt like hell. You're not going to be able to console yourself. I asked myself, what's worse, sudden death or long-term illness? The sudden death was my brother, and the long-term illness was my mother. I said about my father and about my boyfriend that died, but my boyfriend lived 9 days. So there was an acceptance going on. But you want to know what the worst is? My sister just died recently, a few years ago. She had cancer free, gets in a car, somebody hits her. She didn't die right away, but it damaged her thymus. It cracked the sternum. It affected the lung. And the lung was already trying to recover from the damage of the cancer. She was alive, but they had to induce her because of the pain. Finally, there was nothing they could do. So they said that they're going to wake her up, give her the choice. Well, I don't know what choice, because they said that she was just going to die anyway. They woke her up. She's like, hey! Their lungs filled up, and they go, oh, not going to live. But yet, they couldn't do anything for her. And then they told her she had to die. That night, she come to me, and I didn't want to hear it. But see, she came to me before she died. I mean, people's souls do that. And she asked me to do a healing. I said, yeah, but if I did a healing, then you may go. And you may stay. And she said, that's my choice. Will you do this for me? So to help her soul, I decided to help release some of the emotions that were trapped. And I did, a ritual to help her. And then in the middle of the night, I could feel her go. And that's when they let us know that she did. She passed. And I was like, wow. But her soul had already told me weeks before. She didn't let anybody know she had cancer for a long time. Then she gets on and tells me, like, what? And I said, well, that's what we can do. She goes, no, I can't do any of that alternative stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay, have to let that go. It hurts when you can't help, when you know you could. But you have to respect their world. So then, I heard as she had hung up to talking to me, I heard, she found a second door, or second way out. I'm like, wait, what? That means that she wasn't going to die from cancer this time. I'm like, no way. I heard 2 weeks. What? I told you, don't tell me numbers. Yep, 2 weeks. Now, I had forgotten about it. Something struck my heart real hard. And I thought, something's wrong with one of my 3 sisters. One refused to talk to me. The other 2 did. So I contacted and my sister, the one that died, and I said, oh my God, I feel like I need to talk to you. Are you okay? What happened? Is everything all right? She goes, no, I just got in a car accident and I'm in so much pain. And I said, I love you. Oh my God, I love you. She said, I love you too. It's the last I got to hear from her. So I got to say goodbye. Lord Jesus. And so the emotions can be real. And memories can hurt, but you don't have to feed them by constantly thinking about them over and over and over. So the worst way, instead of sudden death or long-term illness, is when they have to wake up and tell you, oh, we're going to kill you. You're going to die. That was my answer, was that. I've had people die in front of me. That was beautiful because you get to see their soul go. But to handle the grief on a spiritual perspective is to knowing that their soul, it's already in the contract. It's just hard on us, the ones that are left behind, because we don't like change, or we may love change, but we don't want it to affect us. I'm not sure if I answered all that, but it was a great question. Sam says, oh no, she's got the share button. Okay. Sam says, my Nan told me in my dreams that my dad not reading at 2:05 in the morning. Then that morning I got a text message saying that my dad passed 2:05 in the morning. Isn't that amazing? To be in that connected level. I could never understand why that. What? I don't want to know when my mom and dad are going to die. I don't tell me time. That was the But you know what? I'm glad they told me about my sister. See, that's the thing. I don't know why some people have the shared button and others don't. Candace, I really don't. That is so bizarre. So I'm going to do my best because, like I said, I don't know if Lenny ever made it. Now, if any of you want a reading, you know the 1111, you're more than welcome to. I don't see the Cartwright girls because they're supposed to be on because I owe the one Cartwright her daughter, but I don't see them here at all. And I told her I would do it offline. I mean, because I'll honor it. But I don't see her here. Any Cartwrights? No. Okay. I gotta find what Connie just said prior to that. Connie said, asking was never okay growing up. Shame and guilt prevail. Death of even a cell within our body continuous all the time. We get to replace it, but don't recognize the new beginnings we're endowed with. So when it comes to understanding, it's about our heart and our heart walls and how we want to protect and how we don't want to be in pain and how. Oh wow! So you know, I feel for you guys. Oh, I need to. You can pay ahead of time, and then, you know, like I said, and then when the show comes on, then I can just, you know, look at you that you're there. Okay. We're gonna do regroup here. Really? Okay. There's different types of readings. I'm not too crazy about sometimes just reading that small. Just, you know, I like doing the way I do it. I like when spirit comes through and they want to chat. Where's my pendulum? Nah, it's too heavy. So, oh, good. Thank you. She says I answered well. How did that whole thing move? Well, Candace, I can, you know, whoever's listening, well, see, okay, Candace. You know, it sounds like you obviously want one. If you want one, we don't have to do it on the air. You can actually do it off the air. You pay me, and then we can do that 1111 off the air. Just let you know. Some of you are wondering about your abilities, and I'm setting up classes to help with that. It's going to take some time because what I've got to say and what Spirit has to say and what's being taught out there, I go to and the only way I can really get it together is if I just put a video on and just start chatting. And some of the stuff that came through of how to help you understand beginning steps, I can totally see why it's important to teach you from step one. Okay, all I keep hearing is the same word over and over and over and over. Clear cognitive. Now, are any of you saying that? Because they're saying clear cognitive skills, and it's the ability, it is that ability to be able to do it. And I want to be able to do an energy test or some way to be able to test it. Now, some of you people are going to be learning this through just video. So that's going to be challenging. But I have to be able to bring it through so that you can get somebody else with you to be able to test. And that's where your abilities are going to get stronger, is that you actively begin to do them. There's a lot of people that listen to you. A lot of you are awake. And a lot of people don't understand you. Is this true? Remember, you're talking in different frequencies, different vibes. And I'm going to tell you, don't prove to them anything. It's not meant to prove anything to them because they don't have the ability to hear you. It is meant for you to grow and find your tribe so you can communicate and so that your soul can grow. Those that don't get it, don't want it, and rather have you live their life their way, they're going to have to say goodbye. It doesn't mean you have to cut them out completely. It's just that you can't cut yourself up just to make them happy. I lived that way for how many years around my own family members that want to make sure I never spoke a word about what I do, let alone do any of this. And they always have that smirk and that smile like, there's that crazy woman over there. And you're like, Jesus, I can hear every freaking thought you're thinking. And I learned how to put a shield up. I didn't learn to cut my heart out. I learned how to put a shield up. And that's one of the things you're going to learn too. And the hardest part is learning how to be okay with the way they think and totally respect that. And when it's hard, you heal it out. Okay. I don't know if Lenny's coming on at all tonight. All right. So I am just asking one more time. Oh, good. I got another name. Now, I wrote it down so quick, I'm not sure whether or not I got the last names. Now, I don't understand why half of you got badges and the other half didn't. That just does not make any lick of sense. Look at that. 17 people are going to get cards tonight. And I'll know after the show how many people that shared are going to get cards tonight. So, yeah, I'm not even sure. All right, I'm just going through again to make sure I see that you've shared. And then we will pull a name. Now, how I'm going to do it is I've got the list of names. And I'm just going to let Spirit pick, see? And when Spirit picks, it's going to tell me, oh, and I went right to Taylor. Is it Bull? See, I wrote it so quick. Let's see if she's here. Ooh, cool. All right, Michelle Maker, I've got you for the next round. So, yeah, I got Sam. Haley, are you still here, hon? Oh, I forgot. Okay, so Alice and Jen. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 names. Come on, get to the bottom. Candace Jane. Yep, you're right there, hon. I realized I didn't put your last name, but yeah, that's you because there's only that one, and then I seen. So, oh, don't tell me she's gone. All right, we'll give Taylor another second or two. Sometimes people walk away, go to the bathroom. Kaylee Bull, yeah. Oh, come on, get to the bottom. No, Demi, I got you. You're top of my list. Oh, Amy, let me see if you're there. Got you now. Remember, it's about sharing. So when this is over, I get to go out and look that you shared. And if you shared them in groups, then that's, you know, why there's a part of me that's like, okay, I got to trust that you know, that you've actually shared, not just tell me. Oh, thanks, Demi. Keep look, yeah, look for her and see if you can find her. Because see, they won't let me pick anybody else yet because for whatever reason. Yes, I have you, Amy. Okay. Kind of a deep subject, but it's always good to. Now remember, when you have pain, to heal. Okay, the person they just landed on, which they're tricky, and I can't read my last. Okay, Katrina, but I don't know what the last name is. I'm going to have to go back up. Yeah, Katrina Ann. Wait, check my eyeballs here. Yes, Katrina Ann, that's who they chose. So I got to cross off Taylor. Oh, Taylor, you're here. Okay, hold on. Which one do you want me to do first, Spirit? Do Taylor first, then Katrina, if you're here. Hopefully you'll say you're here, and then we'll do you second, okay? And get clear, go up to 7 minutes. See, I think Spirit knew. It's just, okay, she's here. So first we're going to do, hold on, I got Natalie Harris. Did I get, okay, Natalie Harris. Okay. All right, Spirit. First one is Taylor. You chose her first for a specific reason. Oh, so you have first chakra issue, and it's the one that's you know, between your legs. The energy flow. What about the energy flow? Okay. Wow, they're showing me that it's huge. It's as if to say there's a part of you that has a hard time surviving, or you have a lot of abundance surviving, but you have to put yourself through so much situations to get that. Maybe a little trouble pulling away from your tribe, your family unit, the ones that you call family in the beginning. Wow, I cannot see tonight. That's interesting. You're used to people making you feel like shit. Is that true? There's a particular feeling that's really gross. Oh, really? Yeah, turn on the timer. That would help. Okay, so play with me so that I can communicate. It's easier this way. And it says new comments, but doggone it, pop up. Yes, hon. Okay. Now, when you're in that situation, is it something that's automatically happening or you just know it's coming before it happens? That's what I'm curious about. Because the young gentleman that stands behind me says that you're so used to being made irrelevant. In what way? It's like when you go to remember something and you try to remember it, or you remember it, but people tell you, oh, no, you remembered it wrong. This is the way it's supposed to be remembered. Does that make sense? Oh, I see a great big argument from the past. But you have learned through that, you know, why say anything at all? Just be discouraged. Does that make sense? Just to be discouraged. You may not even be aware of that discouragement. It feels like it's a really big part of you that it actually, they say when you're about ready to put your step forward, you're like, why bother? You don't even realize it. Ah, she is, yes, so true, negativity. When that happens, they're saying, wow, so does this stop you from like going to college or going into dance classes or going into doing things that they're doing it, so why bother doing it? You understand what I'm saying? Because they just showed me swimming classes. There's just like, you know, it's this, they say that's there. So what would you like her to address? He says you have to first wake up and see how it's their energy begins to dominate. He swears by looking at my files that if you learn to begin to see their actions, regardless how much you love them, or they say they love you, they would want you to succeed. But there seems to be this little hidden agenda that see, it's built into you, because she says, yeah, I feel like I can't sometimes. I feel it's like they've already made the decision for you on several things, and so you just end up applying it without knowing it, and especially when their energy begins to persuade you. So there's a part of you that smells energy before they open their mouth. For instance, a baby born, you think a newborn couldn't crawl, but a baby will, being born, placed on the mom, will start rooting around trying to find that nipple because it wants the milk. It's part of that instinct. And so as you are beginning to root around for what you need to do, there's a part of you that's already connected with smelling, whether it's safe or not. Now, you may not be able to smell because you don't want to smell half that crap anymore. Good, Michelle, you've shared. So Taylor says yes. Okay, so do you still have your ability to smell? That would be important to know too, because I know I have trouble smelling. Now, my first thing I lead with is the nose, and then I have my visual, and actually my feelings, because you have your kinesthetic, your visual, your auditory, your digital, your a gustatory, and you can smell, your olfactory. But mine is to smell. Without realizing, I will already know before I even appear into the room that if it smells funny, then it won't matter. And there's a certain stench that comes off of people that refuse to take care of themselves. Because if you've developed it like me, you'll start smelling their fungus in their body. And it won't even have to be on the outside of their skin. It's just, if you really start developing that ability, you'd be so surprised how you can start smelling when somebody resents you, or smelling when somebody loves you. Like, I could smell over 10,000 miles away, even before I met my husband, that he was right for me. It's not smelling. Sometimes you can smell like you smell a fart, or you smell spaghetti, but sometimes it's just about smelling of, if that is a balance, it'll feel right to you. And I knew that this man was a match for me. I couldn't explain it. And then when I met him, without realizing it, I was like, hi. And I didn't realize I had just sniffed. But then a part of me was like going, oh, he matches. And it was like kind of what I've already imagined what he'd smell like. It was like, and he's just got this awesomeness about him that it's just it's in sync. So Taylor says, my mom can't smell though at all, and we are very close. I've always smelled something since a child. Isn't that interesting? Because like I said, I've turned this off. Now, every now and then, oh, did you smell that food? My husband would go, are you faking it? I'm like, no, because we remember certain things that smell. But also, when I find it safe. Like, I hate grocery stores. Oh my God, I'll turn my nose off just so I don't. In hospitals, I don't like smelling people. Ugh. Anyway, you need to heal this by when you're doing healing, like if you're going to use EFT, I would tell you to focus on breathing in. You can do, oh, that's right. One of my free healing tools is sensory accessing. And that is, you have an issue and you can hold one side of your nose and breathe in. I can't remember if I said put your hand in your head, tap, or whatever it is, but you can do sensory accessing. And what you're doing is I'll show the video. It's too long to explain. But it's very unique because you get to release a lot of these memories that are in your nose. Because all of your sensory system will affect your chakras. And when you smell somebody, like when somebody resents me, it'll affect my chakra. And then I had to learn how to heal that out of my chakra so that when I did smell it, I didn't have to go through the physical pain. Oh, I hope that makes sense to people. Hey, Kathy, how you doing? Good morning. So there's a lot. So Taylor, if I forget, just write me and then I'll send you the link. Okay. Oh, look at that. Kathy's going to get a card because she tagged her friend. Okay. Resensorize myself. I said the next person is Katrina Ann. We'll go that way. Okay. Oh, there goes my screen again. Stop doing that. You'll be very thankful when you start getting it. Yeah, the tapping and the holding of the forehead, those are a couple difference. The sensory accessing, it'll make a world of difference because you're going to get rid of those pictures you didn't know were in your nose. Yeah, yeah, hon. Okay. I want to hear the fight song from football and tailgate parties and wow, old movie. What's all that about? I haven't hit start yet, but I will tell you that if you're going to end up getting more than one card, let there be a theme. Notice that one card will build on the other. All right, here we go. So Katrina, does that make any sense? Football, any of that? Oh, we see you're friends with Denny. Cool. Wait, whoa, I just saw it's like a movie scene in my head. It's like, wait, don't go. I don't know if this is a movie they're trying to tell me about that you relate to, or if this is a scene out of your life. I have a burly man. See, sometimes they don't come out across like that, but he's coming across as a burly man. God, Jesus. He's wearing a tank top. What do they call them? White beaters. He's got the gray hairs on his chest. He's a hairy son of a bitch. Oh, God, and he doesn't really smell that well. Yes, they smell from the other side because they can stimulate your senses. Whoa. Okay, so Katrina, does any of this does any of it make sense? That you got to help me if any of this makes sense, because they're saying that you had an oh my God experience where it was just helplessness. Do you understand that this helplessness is something that you can carry forward in when you're doing your career? And this helplessness is something that you picked up at Tues. And now it's become such a habit. You can go into a crying jag, and all of a sudden it's like, God, I just can't help myself. Or you just feel so helpless that you can't. And then they said that in part, what? Did you have somebody that you witnessed die and you were helpless because you couldn't save them? Why am I getting that one? Where'd you go? Helplessness. No! Okay, well, the one thing, Katrina, is that if it does drop, you can always come back. But I was thinking, do you know any big burly man wears a white British shirt with hair all over, and he don't smell all that good? No. Like I said, there's like a movie scene. I can't tell if it's an actual movie or if it's something from your past. Now, you wouldn't really probably remember when you're 2 years old. But they said that you've picked this up by watching others. Whether you learned it through the TV set or you experienced it yourself or you watched your family. But it's how do I want to define? Anybody in the group want to define helplessness? It's not hopeless, because that's like a way of giving up. Helpless is that you feel like you have to ask somebody else to help you do things because you can't finish the job. You're taught that you're supposed to always, can you help me? It's about not being able to really get to that inner independent part of yourself, if that makes any sense. And it goes back to, like I said, witnessing something in particular. Learned helplessness is behavior that occurs when the subject endures repetitive, painful, or otherwise aversion stimulus, which is unable to escape from or avoid. After such experiences, the organism often fails to learn to accept, escape, or avoid in the situation where such behavior is likely to be affected. I lost you there. Yeah, it could be. Does sound like a Disney princess. But yeah. So if there's a part that any of this is familiar with, okay, or you may sit back and watch this, you may not even be realizing there's a specific word that controls your world. And they said another thing is that there's an arrested development. This will cause you not to be able to develop in a certain area that you've been trying to succeed in lately. So has there something that you've been wanting to do, but like, let's say you wanted to be a motivational speaker, and you're geared up, you're practicing, you're doing this, but something always falls short. And it's the arrested development, because you can't develop, like I said, if you're on a table, you can't really see what's on the table. So you can always, something's up there. Okay, this is what happens inside of us. And when we hit that uncomfortability state, we begin to retreat, because it becomes this, it's a warning sign for us. So you go back. I didn't know I had the right to fight back. I was always told not to fight, don't fight back. I'd watch my family beat each other up. I hated the concept. Then I was told I couldn't do it. And my friend that I thought was a friend, came over and started attacking me because I wouldn't do her dishes. And I held that inside myself that I'm not supposed to do this. And, and she's, fighting with me. And my mother's getting mad. She's like, take it outside. And she was outside. I was inside, and there was a screen door. And I'm like, oh, my God. And, of course, the girl wouldn't go away. So the girl's trying to get in. So when I timed it, so I locked the door, slammed the door like that in her face. She fell backwards. I didn't really fight back. I was just trying to open the door. At least that's what I told myself. And then I had to stand there and let her beat me up. She's shorter than me. She didn't really do too much because I still stood my ground. But you're not going to be able to do anything because you have to obey those rules. You got to go inside and you have to actually disrupt that strategy. I want this, but I can't. Okay, so you can do everything you can to get this, but you can't. And so you have got to find the belief, you got to find the feeling, use whatever healing tool that I know what I would use, but if you're going to heal on your own, get it out, because it literally stops you from doing what you need to do. Okay? They say it literally stops you. Yes, total lack of control in life. And it's because of whatever this is. Now I'm going to ask real quick, how many you got? 1. And it has to do with that helplessness. Is there anything else we can give her? It's a habit. Understand what a habit does. You're going to consciously going, I'm going to do it this time. Ah! In the morphogenic field in our aura, in the body controlling, because now it's the body's the program. The body has done it so many times in the head. Well, wires together, then becomes a program in our body. And then when our body has it, we have no will to take care of it. And the body's going, what's she doing? All right, we got to get on. We got to get her to get lazy. Okay, whatever. We got to get her to not do that thing because it's programmed. She's not supposed to. So then your body's going to make you uncomfortable. It's going to send out feelings, and all of a sudden you're going to start thinking about it. And then the self-talk, and then you're going to find out that you are somewhere else and you didn't get to do what you wanted to do. You have to disrupt those programs, okay? Because a habit is going to try to control it. So you have to catch when you do it. And that's when I would apply another tool. Even though I just did it, I deeply and completely love myself, okay? Because you think if you did it, it's self-abuse. Oh my God, if you did it, it would hurt others. No freaking way. Oh my God, this is a twisted thing that happened as a kid. Oh, you may just have to set an appointment with me. Because that's just, oh my. All right, the last one is a 10-minute free one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to double check if you shared. Hopefully you get a badge. And, if you click love up there, then you can get a card I'll send to you later. If you tag a friend, I'll do my best to find it and give you a card. And if you share, again, your name will go in the box. Okay, I'm just double checking to make sure I haven't missed anybody. And I go back and I reread these messages. And so if you have certain questions or things that you asked and I didn't get to, then I can bring it up in the next thing. Oh, just beautiful. Good, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so we're going to wait for just a second. Spirit is saying, Spirit on the other side loves to be able to talk every now and then. And it could be somebody, now pay attention, it could be somebody in this room here. And so your name, even though if your name is not chosen, then they want to give it to you anyway. So, or you could be watching this later. piggybacking on the hopelessness is that another emotion for people is petrified. And then they are picking somebody out in general, and they said that it was 5 years old that you were meted and greeted with, it became great confusion because you thought you were doing the right thing, but they got so mad at you. It's like you opened your mouth and said something, and they're like, don't be telling all the dirty laundry. Don't. And so then it got very confusing is what do you talk about, what you can't talk about, what is safe. That there's a part of you that began to lose that inner voice. What? Especially to egotistical people. It's like they have this power over you. And you never got to develop past the age of 5 when it comes to using the voice. They say you go in automatic response. Oh, this is where I have to behave. Yes, I will. Okay. How I would tell you to heal this is that, like, for instance, if you were going to come to me, we would look at hope therapy and, boom, 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 to pulling down and resolving the emotion. EFT, learn about it, but you have a tendency to be around these people and you lose your power. They're saying, I'm going to have to type it in there. On my one website, it has a bunch of healing tools, and one of them is pick yourself up. And they said that it's like they don't even have, the egotistical people don't have to prove or show themselves. You will automatically begin to go into the old pattern and half of your shit falls on the floor. What does that mean? Your color, your personal life force. We're made of vibrational color. And picking yourself up is when you got this petrified. You go through those stages and you're on the floor. So even black is a color, but it's you. So you have to look down, maybe look and close your eyes to see better, whatever, but whatever's color there, pick it up, put it back in your body. It's yours. You need your power back. You need to pull yourself back in, because literally you spilt yourself on the floor. And if you can get that back in, and I've had this happen to me, and the woman actually was tormenting me, but when I put myself back into my body, and then I went back there knowing I had to, she was gone. But I was willing to face it, even though she had just stripped me down and tried to stomp on me, and I couldn't even understand what's going on. I seen a big chunk of my energy leave me and go to her, and I'm like, what the hell is my energy doing leaving me? And that's when I looked on the floor and noticed that's me on the floor. Again, you put yourself back in your body. Oh, yeah, I see somebody else's name. Do I have that down? No. And thank you all for sharing. I totally, another person. Totally appreciate that. Spell it right, or you're not going to be able to say her name if she gets it. Katrina, if you want a card, the best thing to do is hit love or tag a friend or share, because when I get done here, I usually go up to the share, like, or the love, and then, so people get free things. That's a tough one, man. See, oh, yeah. Oh, I'm going to write that person's name down. Wonderful new people. Thank you. You will get because you're new to me, you'll get a card anyway, because I feel that you need to get to know who I am. It helps. Now, I probably, because it's going to be late here, I'm not going to be able to probably do all of them tonight. So look forward in your emails, look forward into whatever this live feed is, because sometimes apparently it just goes there and doesn't go any further. Sometimes it'll be in your messenger, or if you shared it, it'll be underneath that. Let's see. Nope, don't have you. Oh man, I got a lot of catching up to do. I go back, like I said, I go back and I read all these wonderful comments and things, and sometimes I'll talk. I saw something, I don't know if I could find it. The spirit said I needed to address it, but if I can't find it, I'm going to be beat. Oh. Okay, April, I'm just going to talk to you real quick. April Farrell. Spirit caught my attention, or you caught spirit attention on the spiritual aspect of things. Okay, not egos, but spiritual. Your soul contract. Your soul signed up and says, I have to go through the experience of not feeling loved enough. And all of these souls in front of you, and you're like, and so then a few people raised their hands, and you're like, okay, when I first come in, who's going to be? And then so then the spirit says, I'll be your mother. I have to work on a particular issue too. So, yes, that'll work. And then it'll go on and on and on. Your spirit, we can't think linear, beyond linear. We can't think in massive time, and because we are wrapped up in time and space, but our soul figures all this out. And when it's very personal, I'll ask, why? Now, this is why I like these questions. Why didn't my parents love me enough? And they said, of course, I lost my eyesight just now. The words just disappeared. Is that the she or them? You had to be with a family that was completely under pressure. Under pressure to perform, under pressure to be a specific way, under pressure to the point where you're going to feel like you're going to blow your top. Did they raise you that way, April? They said that there was a part of you that had to learn to live through others. And when that was happening, you had a particular moment of feelings of being awkward. That awkwardness created a vulnerability to you. And you needed to learn that you in your mind, there was a part of you that already thought, I have to live the way they want me to. So when people come along to hurt you, you have to live the way they want you to. It is like a built-in program that is there. Then there's the era, the generation. My mother, from a German aspect, my mother wasn't German, but my dad was. And that aspect of growing up in that era was, you're supposed to beat your children. Now, my mother, what? But that's what his side of the family did. My mother had to learn to help the children, to protect them in a certain way, but they were quite always, because if you were to ask any of the family members, it is, why didn't my mother protect me? I asked that question. Spirit says she did the best way she could. But then when she finally left, because women weren't allowed to have money, so they had to rely on a man to raise their children. And this is before, where I came from, before they even allowed what they called ADC, which was money from the government to help raise your children. And so my mother always felt like there was nowhere to go. And then there was all the shame that was built into her, so she couldn't go tell her mom or dad. So it's all of these dynamics. I know my mother loved me. I mean, crap. After she died, I've had nothing but love from her. She gave me this hat. This is after she died in, was it 92 or something like that? And my friend Lenny, here in Australia, she gave me this a couple years back. She didn't just give it to me. It was a long story. You can find it on my fan page. But the point is my mother said Angora. And I'm thinking, I don't know where you can get Angora. And then Lenny leaves her hat behind. And one evening, Lenny says, oh, you can have it. And one evening I hear, look at the tag, look at the tag. And on it says Angora. And I could feel my mother going, oh, you got my hat! She's giving me birthday presents from the other side. So, and then when I actually got to meet my father, wow, the soul is so different than the human. It can be a bit daunting. You're like, how can that be so? But we're not meant to learn and know, and we're not meant to, because that's just the way we were grown up. Now it's time that we're getting to understand the other side. And if your mother is to that point where she wishes you dead, she's never going to be connected to the higher self. I'll find out. Is she? No. That means she can only look at the loop. And she only is going to, her heart's probably shut off. She's not going to be able to look at you anything but an object. Okay? And that is where you then have to heal that pain. Because, yeah, it happened, but it doesn't need to own you. And if you were to go in further to Byron Katie's stuff she's learned, did you know that they don't even have to love us? It's just in our concept that we said, oh, they're my mother, that's my sister, they're supposed to love us. No. It blows your mind when you go further. You're like, holy shit, you know? And if you're holding on to pain and suffering, you're only hurting yourself, not anybody else. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to write down the last couple names I see, and then we'll go on from there. Who? All right, I'm going to butcher the name. That's what I'm good about. It starts with, I think it's R-O-W, Rowan, Rona, P-U-T-T. I wrote it so crappy. Let's see if, if I said enough. Okay. Let's see. It is R-O-W. Oh, hopefully, hold on, somebody got it. Yes, that's you, hun. Yes. Sorry, I'm terrible with when I get hooked into spirit. It's hard for me to pronounce things, see things, numbers. Oh, get that. You won 10 minutes, dear. Okay. Oh, before we begin, you want me to just do a cold read, or do you have a question? So all of a sudden, there's all this congestion. A lot of congestion. A lot. Anyways, the cold reads, like I have been. I'll just pick it up and start telling you. If you want to know why something's happened, I can tell you too. So. Okay, I'll look up from time to time, but I'll begin. Where? Okay. You have some trapped emotions You have longing is a trapped emotion. No, currently we're going to release it if you'd like to. Ah, I have my magnets. Magnets are good because they help release trapped emotions. So oh, might be you I'm picking up. If so, then this should clear up. So be it. Thank you. Yeah, okay. So where are you? Here you are. Okay, so there is a question, but you do have a trapped emotion we need to release. So just let me know. Yes, release it, and then copy me. Wondering what happened to me when I was your I am having anxiety bed. When I was your, I'm sorry, my brain is not comprehending what you just wrote. When I was your I am. Let's see if you, yes, please. Okay, we'll heal that. Okay, if you could clarify that sentence, that would be good, because I think I'm reading it wrong. I wonder what happened to me when I was younger? Oh, is that what that means? Okay. Oh, that would totally make sense. Thank you. Oh, spirit. Okay. We're going to roll out, what did I say? Longing. Do you want her just to roll it out? Is it hers? No. Is it inherited? No, really. She picked it up from the environment. At what age? At 4 years old. So at 4 years old, how many times do you want us to roll it out? 3. But I have to say trap. Okay, so I have to say longing. Okay. Do I have to say environment? Just okay. So you can copy me. You're always scared. Okay. You can get a refrigerator magnet. You can use your hand. All right. I'm going to connect into that field. You can say no, you can say yes, however you choose to do it, but it's there for you. You're going to take this and you're going to think longing. We're going to think longing. 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 I just felt it shift. Yawning is a sign of energy moving. Now, is it still there? No. Now, why is she so scared? Age 4. So we've already started with that longing. Tell me more. 7. Who? Her? No. Somebody was expecting an outcome. Oh my God, I just feel like they were pacing the floor back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So did she pick up this anxiety from that particular stage too? Yes. So was somebody on their deathbed? No, somebody was waiting for somebody to come home. Oh wow, they said a lot of anxiety. So does your family members, does any of them worry too much, over concern too much? If so, let me know. Remember to hit love, and I'll give you a card later if you want, you know. Oh, this feedback is slow. All right, Spirit, just tell me more. So what was she doing? She was witnessing. So she was watching someone do this, somebody older do this. And did you think that this was the way life was? Oh, the energy off of them penetrated you, so you absorbed it. Yes. Is it trapped? Yes. Is that part of the longing? Yes. Is longing still there? Yes. But yeah, no. So over the years, you have developed different things that go along with that day of longing. Okay. When that occurred, I mean, it became part of your foundation that this is what people are doing. This is what I'm supposed to do. A child will observe and think this is how life's supposed to be. So then they grow up. Now, which one did it really affect you at? At age 7 was when it really got you, because you could start feeling other people's energy. So you must be in a strong empath. You may not even be aware of it. The energies of others, and what do we need to release it? No, just help her understand. All right, so you're in a room with somebody, and you're reading. Your mind is happy, and the brainwaves have dropped. You're going to be very susceptible of post suggestions. Somebody in the room is over there stewing, getting pissed off, or even they say they don't even have to aim it at you. You can feel. Does she feel? Which way does she do it? She tastes it. It's like walking in the room and smelling a bad fart, and you taste it first before you smell it. Do you understand what I'm saying? You use taste as a way to taste your environment to see if it's safe. And without realizing it, you just digested that this is your stuff, but it's not. It's theirs. You can feel the energy come off these people in such a way, and you don't realize that you take it in and you absorb it. So you resonate others, which means there's a lot of energy in there, and I would have you pull that out. Which one is the strongest? What would you want to do? Throw it out? What? Which one? Resonate others. Go to the next page. Okay. Feeling empty. So do you feel empty at times? Oh, another big question. Do you feel empty and you feel like you have to eat? Does that make sense? Lost my screen. Okay. Where are you at? And then you shame yourself because of this. Does this make sense? Where'd you go? Well, I'm going to assume that you want this. If you don't want it, don't worry. Just say no. You won't get the healing. I'm going to put it out there. Which way? 3. Resonating. Okay, so you resonate with others' emptiness. Resonating with others in emptiness. Resonating with others in emptiness. One more. Resonating with others in emptiness. Resonating with others in emptiness. And I see a bunch of people having that same issue. Oh, now I'm looking through your eyes. This is like a trait. This is like what you guys do. Huh. That's interesting. She says, yes, Fairy, can I know what it was? The emptiness? Oh, what happened? All they're showing me is this woman pacing back and forth, and then it's just the attitude that it's just a normal thing for her, except for it wasn't something, from what I can tell, that was so dramatic that we would say, like a death or a car crash. It's like she had to wait for somebody, and she was pissed because she didn't know. She drove herself crazy by thinking about it way too much, and that energy balls up. And that's when it becomes toxic. This is what I keep seeing, is a particular pattern. You see this particular pattern. And do you know of anybody else that has that particular pattern? Okay. If you do understand that, then you can start going, oh my God, I need to pull that out of myself, because it doesn't serve me to have this, because I lose my power. I need to choose a better emotion to create my reality. I need to choose a bit healthier belief system to function. I don't need to choose that trait of overthinking just so that I can survive. You need to learn a different healing tool to help you learn to resolve, manage, cope, and deal. You can, and pacify. You can resolve those emotions so that your brainwave can become stronger. Hopefully that makes sense there. Tammy says, what kind of magnet? This is a mag boy. Dr. Bradley Nelson's information. This is by Niken. Nikken. Dr. Bradley Nelson does the emotion code, the body code. And when you really get into wanting to study about emotions, read the book. They download the book. Apparently there's a book. I don't think she's here right now, but a woman, wow, her name just flew out of my head. But anyway, she was here. She found the book online and was listening to it on YouTube, I think. Motion code. Well, I hope with you first timers that you return, because I do 2 shows, Monday and Tuesday. But if you're in another state, then it's Sunday and Tuesday. I live in South Australia, so that doesn't tell you the time, but I used to live in Michigan, so I know the Eastern Standard Time. I care about all of you, and like I said, when I see new names, I will send you a card. I'll probably send you a friend invite or something just so I can get to that message thing so I can send you a card. Even if you didn't get a reading tonight, understand. If you share, I'm going to put a card underneath the video. If you hit love then or like, I will send a card, and then I go through. So it takes me quite a few hours to do this, but I also know that I'm supposed to connect with and look for my tribe. Look for those that want to learn all about soul speaking, learn about spiritual investigation, learn about how to empower yourselves. That's why it's called Empower to Be You. Because it is a whole new language. I used to teach it back home, and now I'm over here. All right, I love all you wonderful people. And Spirit is telling me, shh. Wow, somebody's going to get some crystal cards tonight. I feel like a lot of rocks. I might actually get to do some of it because it's only 10:38 here, and then that's usually good. Remember, if you get more than one card, Spirit already knows that. You take one card and you look at the next card, and it'll start helping you define what it is that you're doing. Spirit knows who you are, because it is that part of how I hook up, and then I just trust Spirit to give you the cards. Okay. Oh, I saw somebody say 5 a.m. I don't know where I just saw that. Whew, I'll read it later. Kathy, I miss you too. She was one of the students, and I loved her and her husband, and her daughter. Oh my God, I would always get families. I loved them. I still love them. Oh, you guys have just been the best gift for me, all of you, from the past until now. Yeah. All right, my loves. Remember what I always say, stay blessed.